Section 5-2 tends to be the most confusing section for this chapter. 5-2 really truly is going through and doing a bank reconciliation. What is a bank reconciliation? It's your way of proving what you have on your check register equals what the bank says that they have. You need to go through and do a bank reconciliation monthly. And I want to share some examples of why this needs to be done. Most people go with the assumption, oh, the bank sends me a bank statement, that's how much money I have in my account. Is there a possibility that the bank makes a mistake? Yeah. Yes. You also can't go with the assumption of, when I'm going through and keeping track of my register of how much I have in my bank account, I say I have this much money and just assume that you didn't miss any service fees or any additional charges. Because remember, sometimes if you use an ATM machine that's not your bank's ATM machine, what do? They charge you like an additional $2.50 or $5 or $7 depending on the ATM. Have you seen those notifications before? So you got to watch out about those service fees that can be added on. But here's a personal story of something that happened to me. I was snowmobiling. I know, shocker, right? So I took my sleds and I was driving up north, and my husband and I stopped and we gassed up the truck and the sleds. Sounds like a normal, typical story, right? So it was a pretty higher bill because we filled up the truck completely and we filled up 2 sleds. A month and a half later, I'm going through and doing my bank reconciliation, and I noticed that I had 2 charges from the gas station from the same day for the same amount. So we did the pay at the pump, and something happened where it actually charged me twice. The bank paid it twice because why wouldn't they? Would you agree? So what I had to do is I had to call then I called the bank and I said, what should I do? The bank said, well, call the vendor and see if the vendor or the gas station would go through and credit it. So I called the gas station. The gas station said, well, you have to come in and talk to the manager. And I said, well, that's not going to work. I live 4 hours away. They said, well, that's the only thing that we can do is you have to come in and talk to the manager. So then I contacted the bank back and I said, I contacted the merchant that I bought things from, and they said I have to come in, but they're 4 hours away. They said, okay, don't worry about it. We'll work on it. Because it's odd that you would go to the gas station twice in the same day and fill up with over $100 worth of gas. Do you know what I mean? It's pretty obvious that it's some type of transaction error. But if I had not gone through and reconciled my bank statement, that gas station would have got paid twice for 1 pump. So you always need to be aware of that. The other thing we have to do is for identity fraud and people that are going through and stealing identities, what they're doing is they're actually going through and they're making small purchases on people's accounts. They get the card account and they'll go through and they'll make like a $5 purchase or a $7 purchase or a $10 purchase. And most people, if they don't go through and reconcile, they're going to not matter and they're not going to be concerned about a $5, $10, or $15 purchase, but if someone else is going through and using your funds. So you have to go through and compare what you say that you purchased compared to what the bank is actually paying out. It happened to my brother and sister-in-law, Mr. and Mrs. Sawyer. They had gone through and they were doing their bank statement, and all of a sudden they noticed that there was a charge to Match.com. Do we know what Match.com is? Dating website. And that's a little weird considering that they're married and all of a sudden they have a charge going to the Match.com. But it was a small amount, it was like $10, but that's what someone is doing, is they're looking to see, does this card number combination work and can I get funds for it? So they were charging small amounts to it, and then they realize what's going on, and then they have to close that account and open up another one. So you always have to go through every month. Your parents should be doing this with their bank account. If you have a bank account, you should be doing this monthly as well. The bank will send you a bank statement. As soon as the bank statement comes, you should do your reconciliation because it makes it much easier. So if you get home today and you have a bank reconciliation, you should try to take care of it today or tomorrow, because the sooner you do it, the less work it is to get it completed. So what we have in section 5-2 is a bank statement. And I want to take a look at physically what is on a bank statement. So if we want to look here, look up here just so I can explain some things. There are two sides to the bank statement. On the left-hand side right here, it says balance on check stub number. So this side right here, we're going to be going through and adjusting what you say is the balance in your checking account based on the last check that you wrote. And what we need to realize is we want to look at these words. So right here it says balance, and then below it says deduct bank charges. So it's going to tell you whatever you have for bank charges, you're going to subtract. And look at, that's all you're going to do. You're going to take your balance on your check stub. You're going to deduct your bank charges. And here's your adjusted check stub balance. What you need to realize at the very end, this number and this number need to equal. If they don't, you have made a mistake somewhere. Okay. Now the right-hand side is going to be where we have to do a lot more math. We have to deal with something called outstanding checks and outstanding deposits. So it says right here, balance on bank statement, and it says outstanding deposits, subtotal. So I take this plus this to give me my subtotal. Then I'm going to deduct outstanding checks, and I'm going to get my adjusted bank statement balance. And again, these two numbers need to equal. So now we have this phrase, outstanding deposits or outstanding checks. And then outstanding doesn't mean, oh my God, they're so fantastic. Okay, outstanding means things that we have done that has not showed up on the bank statement. So again, I said I could get home today and my bank statement might be in my mailbox. But on my way home, I could stop and deposit a check for $100. Will that $100 be on that bank statement that's sitting at home? Right? Because I just happened, and they printed the bank statement like 2 days ago. So that would be an example of an outstanding deposit. One that I have in my statements, but it has not showed up on the banks. Same thing could be outstanding checks. Outstanding checks are going to be checks that I have written, but they have not appeared on my bank statement. So those are going to be two key vocabulary terms that you're going to have to deal with. And we're always going to periodically keep doing more and more bank statements. Accounting 2 did a bank statement, bank reconciliation probably a week ago, right? And that's one of the things. And your parents' businesses need to do it, so we just need to be aware of how to take care of it. So when you look at it, it can be confusing, but remember to read your headings of whether or not you're adding or subtracting, and you need to understand what outstanding deposits or outstanding checks are. We're ready to try it? If you're not, too bad. We're going to do it anyway. So our directions for 5-2 says forms are given below. Your instructor will guide you through the following examples. On July 29th of the current year, Deep Clean received a bank statement dated July 28th. The following information is obtained from the bank statement and from the records of the business. We have a bank statement balance, bank service charges, outstanding deposit, outstanding checks, and a check stub balance, check stub number 106. So that's kind of our intro information. And instruction number 1 reads, prepare a bank statement reconciliation. Use July 29th of the current year as the date. All right, let's start with that. So, bank reconciliation statement. We're going to start at the top. Put in the date, July 29th. Got a perfect so far? Right, Clayton? Got a perfect? Got a date on there? Nice. We're going to do the left-hand side, then we're going to complete the right-hand side. So the left-hand side says balance on check stub number. Well, what check stub number are we on? 106. How did you know that? It's on the directions, right? So it really says check stub balance on check stub number 106 is $1,575. So it really is just found directly right in the directions. So I'm going to go ahead and put in check 106, check stub number, and then to the right of the dollar sign, I'm going to put the amount of $1,575. Now we have to go down. We have to say, okay, deduct bank charges. Do we have a bank charge? What do we think, Isaac? Is there a bank charge?
Yeah.
How much?
$2.
Thanks, Isaac. Your voice sounds different today. But Trenton, no problem. We have a $2 service charge. So again, you should have your instructions up because it says right here, bank service charge $2. So what I have to do under the description, I'm going to put in service charge and then the amount of $2. Is it typical for bank to have fees and charges? Yes. You need to be aware of what types of charges your bank is going to have for you, but they'll always be listed right on your bank statement. So we have a total of $2 in charges. Now you have to do some math because we're going to do your balance on check stub number 106. We're going to subtract $2 and you're going to get your adjusted check stub balance. I hope you can do that without a calculator. I don't know. It's kind of tough today. I got 1,573. Does anyone agree? You're off by one?
No.
Oh. We'll try again later, all right, Seth? We'll see if we can get to that. So that is the left-hand side of our bank statement. Now we're going to go through and fill in the right-hand side. It says balance on bank statement. You really find that in the directions. Miss Bain, what is the balance on our bank statement? Yep. So I just plug that in there. Brett, do we have any outstanding deposits?
Yeah.
How many? We have 150 outstanding deposits?
Oh, one.
We have one outstanding deposit for 150. And what is our date of our outstanding deposit?
July 28th.
July 28th. It's going to be put in via numbers. So you can do 7-28. And then you'll put in the amount of that deposit of $150. Now we have to do some math. We take our bank statement balance, we add our outstanding deposits, and outstanding deposits, again, are deposits that we have made that have not showed up on our bank statement. And I got 1,678. Trenton, how did I do? Did I do good math on that one?
I don't know.
You don't know? Didn't get that far yet. Oh, does anyone? Can anyone concur that I did a good job on the math? Dale can? Thank you, Dale. Now, below subtotals, it really says deduct outstanding checks. And again, checks, outstanding checks are checks that I have written but have not cleared the bank. So it did not show up on the bank statement. How many outstanding checks do I have, Clayton? 2. And you'll notice that they give you the check number and the check amount. So I'm going to do check 103 first. And check 103 is for $70. Then I'm going to do check stub or check number 105, and that's going to be for $35. Do you think it's common that we would have outstanding checks but then not be the same numerical order, meaning I went from check number 103 to 105? Do you think that would happen? Think about it. Has someone ever given you a check and then you put it in your purse or your wallet or on the counter and it takes a couple days for you to cash it? Christmas presents, birthday presents, sometimes they'll send you a check. So it does not necessarily have to be a numerical order for the check stubs when they're outstanding. So what I need to do right now is I have deduct outstanding checks. I have 2 checks, a 70 and a 35. I need to add those 2 together. And that is going to go then where it says total outstanding checks. So I have 105 that I'm going to take away from 1,678. That gives me an adjusted bank balance of 1,573. And then we can stand up and do our happy accounting dance. Woo, 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 Why? Because this number on the bottom left equals this number on the bottom right. So that means our bank statement balance worked. We're in reconciliation. We balance. There's no mistake. Nobody was trying to steal my identity and set me up on Match.com this month. Instruction number 1 was to prepare that bank statement balance using July 29th of the current year as the date. Instruction number 2 says record the service charge on check stub number 106. So here is our check stub 106. What we need to do is we have to put in our service charge. So I have to go right here on the other section of my bank statement, and I'm going to write service charge $2. Then I'm going to put $2 right here. Now, we have to do the math, but how am I going to know what the balance is on check stub number 106? Where am I going to look? Where have we gotten all of our information? You guys asleep? Direction. Thank you. Right here it says check stub balance, check stub number 106 is 1,575. So I'm going to take that amount, 1,575, and put it right here, 1,575. They did not tell us to record any new deposits. An outstanding deposit is not a new deposit. So I'm going to take 1,575 plus 0 gives me 1,575. Now, other. Sometimes the other can be an addition. The other section is not always a subtraction, because sometimes we could actually have where the bank would pay us interest, and that interest would be added back on there. So right now the service charge is going to be deducted, so I'm going to take 1,575 and I'm going to subtract $2, and that's going to give me 1,573. And amazingly enough, this 1,573 right here matches that 1,573 up there. Winky dinks. No, that's the way it's supposed to be. That is instruction number 2, recording the service charge on our check stub. Instruction number 3 for today reads, record the service charge on a general journal, page 14, use memorandum 44 as the source document. Here's the thing. The bank took $2 out of our account. I can't have $2 being taken out of our account without us journalizing. So we have to journalize that. So to journalize that, it's going to be, the date is going to be the 29th. We're going to use miscellaneous expense. Source document's going to be M44. And this is going to be one of the few times when you're going to be crediting cash when your source document is not a check. The bank would never have us write out a check for $2. They're just going to automatically take it out of it. So if we know cash is going to be credited, general would need to be debited. Some businesses actually do have a service charge fee as an expense account instead of using miscellaneous expense. And when I do my check my answer, I got it right. How about you guys? Anyone else get a perfect? I'm the only one? Seth, you got a perfect? Love it. Love it. Go ahead and try that on your own.